Tire testing at Texas was terrific. Hendrick has hopes high. Shootout starts soon, this week on Race Week.
Race Week is brought to you by the Texas Motor Speedway.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Race Week. I'm your host, George Reba, and for the next 30 minutes, I'll be at the wheel guiding you through the lefts and rights of the racing world. Well, Dolly Parton once said that if you don't like the road you're walking, start paving another one. And most of the teams took that to heart and make big changes going into the 2012 season. Hendrick Motorsports started paving their own road last year with an unprecedented crew chief shuffle and an announcement that Mark Martin would be replaced with Kasey Kahne beginning a year later in 2012. Well, it's 2012 now, so let's take a look inside Hendrick Motorsports and preview what their season might look like in this week's cover story. New to the Hendrick lineup this year is Kasey Kahne, who takes over the number 5 car from Mark Martin. Kahne is a driver who has immense talent and potential, but has yet to find a stable ride in the Sprint Cup Series. Hendrick Motorsports looks to be that home for Kahne, and everybody in the organization is excited at what Kahne and longtime crew chief Kenny Francis bring to the organization.
We were really excited about having Kasey Kahne and Kenny join our organization. And look at what they accomplished in the chase last year. It got us more excited, and I think the respect that these guys have, and we all have, for Kasey as a driver, and Kenny as a crew chief, and Kenny brought one of his engineers and a couple more of his guys, and they have plugged in here, and we knew that they would help us. They'd give us some fresh ideas.
He's been a great addition. I've always admired his talent, always liked Kasey as a person. Having him here is something that, you know, I definitely push for. But to be able to get the combination of he and Kenny, I think is very powerful.
To the unknowing ear, it sounds as if Hendrick brought in Kahne and Francis to help the other teams get new ideas and generate some fresh momentum in the garage. In fact, Johnson, Jr., and Gordon not only made the chase last year, but finished 6th, 7th, and 8th in the final standings. As good as that might sound outside the Hendrick garage, it doesn't sit well inside of the garage. Every driver feels that they have not lived up to the organizational standard, and they all want to have a better year in 2012.
I use the hedge a little bit, but this year I'm not. I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't have all 4 cars in the chase, and I'm going to be really disappointed if we don't win the championship. We're as prepared as we ever have been, and if we don't get it, it's going to be our fault.
I'm as hungry as I've ever been, and you know, I know that this organization is. I know that Chad is in the 48 team, and I think, you know, what Rick opened with, and his disappointment if all 4 cars aren't in the championship, and then the same for the champion not being one of these 4 cars. I share that.
I think we take so much pride here in pleasing Rick because of what he does and what he goes through, what he's been through. He set the stage for us, gave us all these opportunities and equipment that we already feel an immense amount of pressure to go try to make him proud of us.
Hendrick's brief driving career, 2 Cup-level races behind the wheel back in the late 80s, may be why he's known as a driver's owner, meaning that he understands the drivers' personalities make a difference, and the better they all get along, the better the results for the entire team. He seems to have great chemistry right now amongst his stable.
Heard a radio interview earlier today where Junior was asked to describe the different drivers here as their roles if they were in a classroom, and he said Jeff is the straight A student, and you are the person that gets people into trouble.
Me?
Yeah.
Fantastic. You're right there beside me then.
Yeah. Jeff, you okay with that?
Yeah, I've got him fooled. I can tell you that. He thinks I'm a straight A student.
Well, that's what Junior said anyway. Maybe he was just being polite there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
With all of the changes implemented by NASCAR in the offseason, like fuel injection and different rules packages to the restrictor plate races, there has been plenty to work on in the shop. It creates a lot of work, but Hendrick sees it as a positive step for racing.
Very positive. I think it's just from the technology side, the fuel injection, everything we have has fuel injection. So from the fuel injection to the relevancy of the car, I mean, this is what it ought to be, and I think you'll see it energize a lot of people. I really do. And again, the fans can drive to the racetrack, but they're going to see Jeff race. So that'll be exciting.
No matter what changes with the cars from year to year, one thing stays the same for all the drivers in the Hendrick garage: the expectation to win.
And I think another big motivating factor in that is that our equipment with the 14 car won the championship, and then the best finishing Hendrick car was 6. So there's a lot of motivation to be at the top of the heap from the 48's perspective than all 4 cars. And Rick said some lofty things in our big gathering where he wants all 4 cars in the chase and one of the cars to win the championship. And none of us want to disappoint him.
Yeah, once you've won multiple championships, or even one championship, your motivation is to win another one. And when you don't win it, while you might be able to say, okay, this was a good year, you can't say it was a fully satisfying year. And the expectations are high on us this year. Rick said it, I'll say it, I know Alan will say it, and we're expecting big things, and we're ready to step up.
Hendrick has positioned the organization to have a big year, and the rest of the organization will accept nothing less than a championship.